Close your eyes and breathe slowly. Let the world around you fade. The noise, the brightness, the weight of today. You are no longer in your room. You are no longer in this century. Let your mind drift. Drift across time, across language, across memory ... until you arrive in a place of stone and silence. A city lit by torches, wrapped in shadow. You are in ancient Rome, but not the Rome of emperors and battles. No, tonight, you walk through the Rome that lives beneath the surface. The Rome that whispers when the world sleeps. The moon hangs low, above the rooftops of the insulae, tall, creaking apartment buildings stacked like baked bricks against the night. Their windows flicker faintly from oil lamps, but most have gone dark. Families sleep close together, wrapped in woven linen, their dreams mingling like warm breath in a single room. You float past a wooden balcony. Clothes hang stiff in the night. Breeze, a tunic, a shawl, a child's sleeping shift. Somewhere inside, a father shifts in his sleep, arm resting protectively over his youngest son. The child murmurs something in Latin, a dream, perhaps of the market, or a stray dog he fed crusts to earlier that day. The floor below smells faintly of ash and garlic. A widow has left her stew pot half filled for morning. The fire beneath it glows dim. A single rat tiptoes across the stone ledge, cautious, unsure whether to feast or flee. Below that, a shopkeeper lies sprawled on a wooden bench, counting profits in his mind, even while dreaming. His ledgers are closed, the wax seal still warm. Tomorrow, he will rise before the sun to haggle with a merchant from Gaul. But for now, he sleeps. Chest rising slowly, peacefully, you move silently past cracked walls and woven shutters. In the alleys, the scent of olive oil and cooling bread clings to the air like a lullaby. Clay pots lean in corners, stacked neatly. No voices rise, no footsteps echo. Only the wind speaks, brushing past your ears like a mother's breath. Now, you are at the edge of a small courtyard, one of many scattered through the Subura district. A fig tree casts long shadows across the tiles. In its branches, a bird shifts sleepily. Beneath it, a small fountain trickles, the sound so gentle it feels like a whisper from the gods. It is here that time slows, that the soul of the city speaks in quiet. You hear soft footsteps, not yours. A woman steps from a doorway. She wears a simple tunic, her hair unbound. She holds a bundle to her chest, an infant wrapped tight. She hums a lullaby, not with words, but with tone, with breath, the kind of song only a mother knows. She walks once around the courtyard, barefoot, her steps deliberate. You feel the earth under her feet, cold stone, warm life in the distance. A torch flickers at the city gate. A guard yawns behind his shield. He does not see you, cannot see you, but he senses something. His eyes scan the empty street, and he whispers a prayer to Mars, not for battle, but for peace. Beyond him, a stray dog curls beside a wall etched with graffiti, a lover's name, a price for figs, a warning against thieves, all carved in haste, all forgotten. But here, beneath the stars, they speak louder than any senator's decree. You pass through a shadowed atrium, the open-air center of a wealthier home. Its marble glistens under moonlight, a bronze statue of a minor god, chipped and green, with age, watches you silently. Inside, a noble woman reclines in her sleep. On her table, scrolls lie half-read, one still clutched in her hand. Philosophy, perhaps, or poetry. She sleeps alone. Outside, the fig tree moves again. A wind rises, faint, steady, full of secrets. Listen. You are not just a visitor here. You are part of the night, part of its stillness, part of its memory. The heartbeat of ancient Rome doesn't lie in its conquest. It lies here, in the silence between breaths, in the echo of footsteps on stone, in the way a mother sings to a child no one remembers. Let the quiet hold you, let the past embrace you, and if you listen closely, you'll realize that Rome never died. It merely fell asleep. And you have entered its dream. The moon has climbed higher now, no longer golden. It has turned silver, cold, calm, distant, but its light still kisses the rooftops, still pours into narrow alleyways like slow-moving water. Rome has not awakened, and yet, it is alive. You drift through the upper floors of the insulae, wooden beams creaking, gently, whispering the stress of too many winters. These buildings are not strong, but they hold strong people. Inside, a young mother stirs. She does not wake fully. She simply shifts, her hand reaching for her child in the dark. The baby sleeps soundly, wrapped in old linen, cheeks flushed with warmth. There is a small wooden figurine on the shelf above her, crudely carved, but loved. A tiny representation of Fortuna, goddess of chance, a gift from the midwife. She believes it keeps the child safe. Just one floor below, an old man lies awake. He hasn't slept much in years. His eyes trace the cracks in the ceiling. He listens. He knows every sound the building makes, every groan, every sigh. Tonight, he smiles faintly. Nothing is wrong. Nothing is broken, and so, he closes his eyes again, not to sleep, but to remember. In the distance, a distant murmur floats up from the Subura, a cart being pulled across stone, too early to be legal. Someone couldn't wait for daylight. Perhaps a merchant bringing wine from the port. Perhaps something less legal. Rome has many faces, and not all of them sleep at night. A cat leaps from one rooftop to another, smooth, silent, sure-footed. Beneath her paws, the city stretches like a giant animal at rest. Her green eyes scan the darkness. She sees more than you ever could. She disappears over the ledge, chasing a shadow. Back inside, a teenage boy sleeps beside his wax tablet. He is a student, perhaps of rhetoric or arithmetic. His scroll is marked with notes about Cato the Elder and the 12 Tables. His writing is sloppy, his ink is dry. He fell asleep mid-thought. In his dreams, senators argue in slow motion, their voices echoing like ocean waves. He dreams of speaking in the Forum one day, of being heard. In a chamber far smaller, a slave curls into a corner, back sore from a day carrying water up to many stairs. She does not dream of freedom. She dreams only of her mother's cooking, from a village she hasn't seen in a decade. That memory alone keeps her warm. A soft breeze pushes through the shutter slats. It smells of ash and herbs. Lavender, perhaps, or thyme from a windowsill garden on the next block. A woman sleeps there, a widow with kind eyes. Her herbs aren't for cooking, they're for medicine. She tends to the sick in her block. Tonight, she dreams of her late husband's voice. She swears she hears it sometimes when the wind comes from the north. And now, you pass through a rooftop courtyard. A man stands alone, staring at the stars. He is wrapped in a dark cloak, hands tucked behind his back. He does not move. He is counting, not numbers, but constellations. He finds comfort in the order of the cosmos. He says nothing, but in his mind, he thanks Jupiter for another quiet night. His city is not perfect, but it is still his. You float lower now, back into the side streets. There, a young girl leans against a wall, eyes half closed. She works in a taverna by day, cleaning tables, pouring watered wine for grumbling workers. But at night, she escapes. She comes here to feel the air, to look at the stars through a crack in the roof line. She hums softly, a Gaulish melody. Her grandmother taught her. No one knows she comes here. It is hers alone. In a nearby alley, a drunk soldier leans against a column. His armor is crooked, his helmet lies beside him. He mutters about Germania, about snow and screaming, but then, he sighs, heavy and long, and in that breath, you hear something human, tiredness, longing, regret. He will wake tomorrow with a sore back and no memory of this moment. The city holds all these lives gently. It does not judge them. It simply remembers them. You move onward, past open courtyards, past cracked cisterns and sleeping chickens. The silence is not empty. It is full, full of waiting, full of stories, full of dreams still unfolding. And through it all, The night continues. Rome is not asleep. It is simply paused, held in that sacred moment between memory and motion. Let yourself sink deeper now. You are no longer floating. You are part of this night. Let it hold you. Let it carry you to sleep. You leave the Subura behind now. Its close back walls, its soft breathing, its sighs in the night. The street widens. Stone under your feet grows smoother, better laid. The houses become broader, richer. You've arrived at the edge of the Forum Romanum, the very heart of ancient Rome. But tonight, it is not filled with senators or shouting merchants. It rests. Torches still burn low near the temples, their flames dancing gently in copper bowls. Marble pillars rise into the starlight like silent trees, white, clean, eternal. You walk among them. Your footsteps make no sound. You are a shadow in a city of ghosts. Here stands the temple of Saturn, massive and stoic. Its steps are empty now. No worshippers kneel. But if you listen, truly listen, you can still hear the soft echo of ancient prayers, whispered through centuries of stone. A little farther, the Basilica Julia looms, empty halls that once rang with legal debate, now filled only with the creak of cooling stone. Owls nest high in its arches. One hoots softly, then falls silent again. The air is cooler here, almost sacred. You pass under a broken arch. A gust of wind brings with it the scent of old ink and papyrus. Just ahead, the tabularium sleeps, the state archives, where Rome keeps her memories. Thousands of scrolls, locked in dark rooms, untouched by fire or rain. You imagine a clerk, long ago, working late into the night, recording names and laws. By lamplight, you wonder, did he know that his careful work would still be remembered? Nearby, a statue of Julius Caesar stands still in the shadows. Time has not been kind to the marble. Cracks run through his face, and moss clings to his robes. But the posture remains proud, firm, eternal. He does not speak. But even in silence, he commands attention. Now, something stirs near the rostra, the great speaker's platform. Not a man, not a ghost, just a stray dog, nosing through empty amphory. It finds nothing and trots away. But even that small movement feels monumental. Here, where words once moved nations, only a quiet dog remains to witness the stars. You turn toward the temple of Vesta, round, delicate, quiet. A single oil lamp still burns within. It is never allowed to go out, even at this hour, even when all eyes are closed. The sacred flame lives on. A young priestess sleeps inside, head tilted against the column. Her robes are spotless, her hands folded. She has taken a vow. Silence, purity, duty. Her dreams are filled with light and heat. She does not know you are there, but her presence fills the air with peace. You sit for a moment on a wide stone step, worn by centuries of sandals, bare feet, and ambition. Let your body rest. Let your thoughts slow dot above you. The stars shimmer behind broken pediments. Their light is old, perhaps older than Rome itself, and yet it still falls here, still bathes this city in memory. A small insect buzzes past your ear. A breeze moves your hair. Far away, a wooden wine chime knocks softly in some hidden courtyard. Even the gods seem to be asleep. You rise again, slowly, with reverence. As you walk, you pass a mosaic half covered in dust. It depicts a feast, grapes, goblets, reclining figures. You wonder about the artist. Did they imagine this image would still be here, 2,000 years later? Did they know that even after the voices had faded, the stones would speak? Now, the form begins to fade behind you, but it doesn't vanish. It lingers, like a scent, like a song you can't quite place. You are filled now with the weight of memory. Not sorrow, not fear, just depth. A sense that every stone under your feet has felt 1,000 stories, that even in stillness, Rome breathes. You are not alone here. You never were. Rome remembers you, even if you've never been here before, and tonight. It welcomes you home. The form fades behind you like a forgotten song, And now you drift toward the Palatine Hill, where the wealthy sleep, and the stones are smoother. Here, the houses are different. They do not groan like the insulae. They do not share walls or thin ceilings. These are the domus, private villas with painted walls, open-air gardens, and fountains that whisper even at midnight. You float toward one such house now. Its walls are quiet, but not silent. Inside, life breathes gently. A narrow hallway opens before you, dimly lit by the dying flame of an oil lamp in a bronze sconce. Shadows stretch long across the mosaic floors. They do not threaten. They rest. To your left, a dining room, a triclinium. The couches are still strewn with cushions, the table empty now. Earlier, there were figs, cheese, olives, and watered wine. Laughter echoed here, soft and learned. Now, only a small clay bowl remains, half filled with pomegranate seeds. You hear one roll across the stone, click, click, and settle. Further in, the atrium opens up, a wide space beneath the open roof, where the moon shines through the compluvium, casting soft silver on the pool below. The impluvium holds water like a mirror. In it, the stars float. A slave, barefoot and silent, walks past with a cloth. She does not see you. She cleans without sound, trained to disappear into the background. But her hands are gentle. She loves this house. It is the only home she remembers. To the right, a tablinum, the master's office. Scrolls sit in neat stacks. Wax tablets lie on a cedar desk. The man of the house has gone to bed, but his scent remains. Ink, wool, and aged wine. There is a bust of his father in the corner, watching, always watching. Beyond the tablinum, the peristyle garden waits, columns surrounding olive trees, herbs, and a bubbling fountain. Small lamps flicker between the plants. Somewhere, a frog croaks. A night bird flutters in the branches. The garden is asleep, but alive. Near the garden, you find the culina, the kitchen. It is small, dark, quiet now. Pans hang from iron hooks. A clay oven still glows faintly with dying coals. A loaf of bread cools on a shelf. No one touches it. It is for breakfast. A dog lies curled beneath the table, dreaming of meat. Upstairs, you pass a cubiculum, the bedroom. A boy sleeps beneath a woven blanket. His cheeks are round, peaceful. Beside him lies a wooden toy, a chariot, carved by his grandfather. His breathing is steady. His dreams are of races, of triumph, of speed. In the next room, a woman reclines. She is not asleep yet. Her hair is undone, long and dark. She reads by lamplight, tracing each word slowly. An old myth about Romulus and Remus. Her lips move, though no sound escapes. She reads not just for herself, but for the child in her belly, a future Roman. The lamp dims. She yawns. The scroll is folded. She lies back, hand on stomach. And finally, sleep takes her to. Now, you find yourself drawn downward to a hidden part of the house. Beneath the floors, in a small stone room, sits an altar. A flickering candle still burns before tiny statues of the Lares, the household gods. Offerings are placed, bread, salt, wine, not much, but enough. The house is protected. You feel it, a warmth, a quiet dignity. This is not a palace. This is not power. This is home. The walls do not whisper with secrets. They breathe with memory. You return to the atrium, where the moon still spills silver onto the water. You listen to the dripping of a distant fountain. A door creaks somewhere far away. Not from fear, but simply from age. Everything here is at peace. Everything here belongs. You take one last look at the sleeping house and drift outward, over the rooftops, past the tiled ridges, above the olive trees. The night deepens, but the city does not darken. It only softens, quiets. Rest. And so should you. Let the weight of the day melt from your shoulders. Let the breath slow. Let the thoughts fade. Like footsteps in soft earth. Rome is sleeping. You are safe here. Let go. Streets grow quieter now. Not because the city sleeps, but because it exhales. You pass under ivy-covered arches, the air thick with the scent of stone and steam. Ahead, the mighty baths of Caracalla stand like a dream sculpted from red marble and twilight. These are not mere wash houses. They are cathedrals of water. Massive columns rise like giants from the earth. Their surfaces are cracked, but proud. Even now, at this hour, soft light glows from within, flickering braziers still warm. Long after the bathers have gone, you step inside. The air is thick, moist, ancient. It carries with it the ghost of eucalyptus oil and hot citrus. To your left lies the frigidarium, the cold plunge. Its pool still ripples from a recent visitor. A towel, forgotten, drapes the edge. Silence holds the space like a priest holds breath before a blessing. To your right, the tepidarium, warm, gentle, like womb water. A mosaic of Neptune lies beneath the surface, his eyes calm, distant. The walls echo with sighs that never leave. Further in, the caldarium hums. Steam rises like incense. You feel it wrap around you, curl through your fingers, soften your hair. Bronze pipes gurgle deep below. Flames roar in hidden furnaces, keeping the waters alive. You do not see anyone, but the walls remember. They remember senators here, releasing the burdens of empire. They remember slaves, scrubbing the dirt of labor from tired limbs. They remember lovers meeting beneath the archways, speaking in soft Latin no one else heard. High above, the ceiling opens. Through a round oculus, the stars pour in, unfiltered, ancient, and true. Their light meets the steam. Together, they make fog shine. You sit by the pool's edge. The marble beneath you is warm. You close your eyes. In the darkness behind your eyelids, you see the past. Not as dusty scrolls or broken statues, but as breath, as heartbeat, as skin. You hear it in the drip of condensed water. You feel it in the hush of marble. You understand, finally, that Rome is not only built of stone, it is built of ritual. Of rhythm, of repetition. Bathe, rest, wake, work, love, sleep, repeat. The sounds of the city have faded entirely now. Even the dogs are still. Even the gods are dreaming. A final breeze rolls through the chamber, tugging gently at your tunic. It carries the scent of laurel, charcoal, and lavender. You stand. One last time, you look back, not with longing, but with respect. The baths do not need you to remember them, they remember themselves. And as you step back into the open air, Rome lays itself at your feet once more, still alive, still breathing, but asking nothing now except your silence and your sleep. You are no longer in Rome. The marble streets are gone, the temples, the baths, the villas, all behind you now. Before you lies the frontier, the very edge of the Roman world. The air is colder here. The wine's sharper. Instead of the chatter of markets, you hear the rustle of leather armor, the creak of wooden gates, the low hum of soldiers watching the shadows beyond the wall. You stand upon the Hadrian's wall, stretching like a spine across the misty hills of northern Britannia, built not to conquer, but to hold. Built not of glory, but of discipline. The night sky is darker here. The stars seem closer. Raw, unwinding. Below, the land stretches wide and wild. Forests, moors, smoke in the distance, not from war, but from campfires. On the other side of this wall, life moves in rhythms Rome cannot control. But here, on this side, Rome still breathes. You walk past rows of tents, wrapped in silence. Each holds a life. A soldier from Spain, a centurion from Gaul, a young recruit from Africa who still writes letters to his mother, though no birds come north to carry them home. A sentry nods as you pass. He is wrapped in furs, eyes red from wine. His spear rests against his shoulder, but his mind drifts to the woman he left behind, to the bread she baked, to the smell of rosemary in their small courtyard back in Carthago. He will never see her again, but he guards this wall as if she waits for him on the other side. You reach the watchtower. Climb its narrow steps. At the top, the world opens. To your left, the Roman world, structured, lit, still flickering with control. To your right, darkness, wildness, a silence not shaped by law. And in the middle, you, the listener, the watcher, the soul walking between worlds. The tower holds a small shrine, a clay figure of Jupiter Dolichonus, brought from the east by a soldier who barely speaks Latin. He lights a lamp before it every night. Not from belief, but from hope. The flame flickers. Far below, a horn sounds, not an alarm, just a change of shift. The night rotates, the wall breathes. Inside the Principia, or command post, a scribe records the names of men on duty. His script is careful, steady. He knows no one will read it for centuries, but still, he writes. Across from him, an old general warms his hands by a brazier. He's fought Parthians, Germans, pirates, but the cold of Britannia bites deeper than any blade. He drinks his wine with watered patience. He stares at the flame like it owes him answers. Outside, the wind whistles through the cracks in the wall, but it does not enter. Rome may bend, but tonight, it does not break. You descend again, past the kennels. Hear the hounds stir, sniffing the air. They do not bark. They are trained better than that. You pause at the gate. A soldier opens the small wooden panel to peer through. The dark beyond stares. Back. There are voices out there. Not Latin. Not words. Just the sound of another world. Breathing. You do not fear it. You honor it. The wall is not just defense. It is conversation. Stone meeting silence. Order meeting mystery. Rome meeting the rest of the world. And pausing, just for a moment, to listen. You turn away now. Walk past the barracks once more. A flute plays somewhere, low and broken. Maybe a lullaby. Maybe a prayer. The moon dips behind a cloud, and the fire continues to burn in the little shrine. Still hoping, still remembering, still. Rome. Dawn rises slowly along the wall, not golden, but gray. Mist clings to the fields like breath that never left the lips. But inside the vicus, the civilian settlement beside the fort, life stirs gently. This is not a city, but it is no longer wilderness. You walk along the narrow, muddy streets of a frontier town. It smells of damp wool, smoked fish, and fresh bread. A child runs past you barefoot, chasing a clay ball down the slope. Her laughter cuts the cold like sunlight. To your left, a blacksmith's hut. The door stands open, fire already burning. Inside, a man hammers a horseshoe with the focus of a priest, not for war, but for a merchant's mule. He is a veteran, scars on his arm, a missing finger. But now, his war is with iron. You step further in. A woman stirs porridge in a clay pot outside her doorway. Steam rises. She hums an old Gallic tune, older than Rome. Her husband, a Roman auxiliary, sharpens his blade without looking up, not because he expects an attack, but because that's what his hands know best at sunrise. A small tavern opens its shutters, wooden benches, to clay cups still sticky from last night. An old bard snores in the corner, wrapped in a horse blanket, fingers still on his lyre. His music kept the night warm. His dreams keep the morning honest. The market awakens slowly, not marble columns and shouting vendors. But wooden stalls, patched cloth awnings, soft voices bartering in many tongues. You hear Latin? Yes, but also Celtic, Berber, Greek, and a dialect of Thrace you don't even recognize. This is not one empire. This is all of them, braided together. A merchant lays out trinkets. Amber from Germania, pepper from India, tiny glass bottles from Alexandria. A young boy stares at a copper pendant shaped like Mars. He has never been to Rome, but the pendant feels like belonging. Near the edge of the market, you find a scribe's stall. He writes letters for those who cannot. A soldier's message to a brother in Corinth. Traders account for a grain shipment, a love note, clumsily dictated by a blushing potter. He writes them all the same, with dignity. A group of soldiers passes by on horseback, returning from patrol. They are muddy, tired, but joking softly in Spanish. Their armor clinks like a lullaby of steel. One of them carries a rabbit-y dinner for the unit. The baker smiles as they pass. She's been saving the last honey cake for them. She always does. As you walk beyond the market, you hear music again, not Roman, a native flute, soft and slow, played by an old woman outside her round house. Her home is not Roman. Her soul is not conquered, but she sells herbs to the garrison and blesses their wounds with whisper prayers. No one translates. Rome did not erase her. It made space around her. And she somehow still stands. The sun lifts now. Mist begins to scatter. Smoke rises from chimneys. The town is awake, not as a fortress, but as a community. People who did not choose empire, but live within it. Children of farmers marrying daughters of legionaries. Jewelry made from Roman coins and local bones. Altars where Mars and forest gods share the same incense. You realize something here. Rome didn't just defend its borders. It grew them. With warmth, with trade, with memory. And with stories, like this one. A dog barks nearby. A rooster answers. The day has fully arrived. You leave the town behind now. Step once more toward the garrison's outer wall. The soldiers rotate watch, but the people, they continue. Living. Laughing. Loving. And building Rome. One whispered morning at a time. The wind speaks differently on this side of the wall. It is older here. It carries no orders. No Latin curses, only the breath of pine trees and memory. You are among the tribes, those Rome called barbarians, but nothing here is barbaric. A village rises in the morning mist. Thatched roofs, round wooden houses, smoke curling from chimneys like ancient prayers. Children chase each other between goats and firewood stacks. Their laughter, universal. Inside one of the huts, a woman braids her daughter's hair. The braid is long, not just of strands, but of generations. She whispers a story as she weaves, of wolves that guarded the moon, of a giant who swallowed snow and spat stars. The girl listens. Why I? The past, for her, is not forgotten. It is alive. A warrior sharpens his blade beside the fire, not because he seeks war, but because he knows it may come. He does not speak of Rome. He speaks of seasons, of herds, of omens. His tattoos are not decorations. They are maps of family, loss, and honor. Outside, the elders sit in a circle. No throne. No titles, just age and voice. They speak slowly, in tones that carry through trees. They do not write, but they remember everything: the births, the famines, the sky, the night, the red star dance. A boy listens from behind a tree. He does not yet know if he is ready to join their stories, but one day he will tell them as if he was their. Because that is their way. You walk further. Beyond the village, a ritual site carved into stone. No crosses. No eagles, just spirals. Deer, sons, and hands. Hands of those who touched the earth before language had fences. A woman kneels there now. Her eyes are closed. In her lap, a carved wooden bowl of herbs. She does not pray to the gods. She prays with them. A river runs nearby, its waters, cold, fast, full of life. You see children splash along the edge, their laughter no different than those inside the wall. But their toys are made of bone, not bronze. Their songs have no verses, only rhythm. You realize something here. These people are not the opposite of Rome. They are its mirror. Rome builds with stone. They build with wood. Rome writes. They remember. Rome conquers. They continue. There is no emperor here, but there is order, born not from laws, but from listening. A hunter returns with a boar over his shoulders. He is greeted not with cheers, but with silence. Respect is quiet here. He lays the boar down near the fire, touches his forehead to the earth. Thanks the forest, then speaks the boar's name, not because it had one, but because it should. As night falls again, fires light the hills. Not for war, but for warmth. Drums begin, low, deep. Not for dance, for memory. You sit among them now. They do not ask your name. They do not care where you're from. You are here, and here is enough. Someone hands you a carved cup. Inside, a bitter drink made from bark. You sip. It burns like truth. A child sits beside you and points at the stars. She names them, not in Latin, but in breathy, old words. One means the hunter, another means the grandmother, another just means hope. The fire crackles, a song begins. No instruments. Only voice. The wind has settled now. On both sides of the great Roman wall, the fires burn low. One fire warms a Roman patrol, the other, a tribal family beneath pine trees. But the smoke, it rises together. From a hilltop watchtower, a Roman centurion peers into the distance, his armor polished, but his eyes tired. He has stood this post for 12 winters. He has not seen battle in years, only shadows, and once, a girl, watching from behind a tree, who disappeared before he could wave. He thinks about her sometimes. Not as an enemy. As a reminder that beyond maps, there are people. Tonight, there is movement at the edge of the woods. Not war drums. No horns, just 3 tribal elders, and one younger man holding a carved staff wrapped in white cloth. They stand in silence, waiting. The centurion descends the tower slowly. No swords drawn. No words yet, only breath and snow crunching under boots. A translator joins, a retired auxiliary who once fought in Dacia, now old and quiet, fluent in both tongues, but loyal to none. The 2 groups stand, face to face. The Roman salutes, the younger tribesman bows. Their gestures do not match, but their intention does. The translator clears his throat. They bring word, he says, not of war, of river paths, safe for trade. Of salt and grain, of furs and tin, of peace. Perhaps. The centurion listens. He says nothing for a moment, then steps forward, removes his helmet, and kneels. He picks up a handful of earth, lets it fall between his fingers. Then, in perfect native dialect, he says, "Let us plant something instead of burying it." Silence. Then, the oldest elder smiles. The translator doesn't need to explain that part. It is understood. They sit by the fire, both fires now joined. A flask is passed, not Roman wine, a bitter herbal brew from the forest. Sharp, smoky, strangely comforting. The Roman coughs. The tribesman laughs. Walls soften. Nearby, a boy plays with a carved wooden horse. A soldier kneels beside him, shows him how to make it right across the dirt. The language is still a barrier, but laughter is and single quotes. Night deepens. Stories are exchanged, not as negotiations. As gifts. The Romans speak of stars named by generals. The tribesmen speak of stars named by dreams. One tells of a fox who tricked a bear. Another tells of a goddess who swallowed a storm. The stories don't match, but the feeling does. As the fire crackles, one soldier sings a lullaby his mother used to hum near the Tiber. A tribal woman hums a harmony, completely different key, yet somehow they blend. No treaty is signed tonight. No banners are raised, but something larger has happened. 2 worlds looked at each other and saw themselves. A tribal elder stands to leave. Before he turns, he takes a small object from his belt, a carved medallion, not gold, not silver, just wood, but shaped like the sun. He hands it to the centurion. No words. Just offering. The Roman holds it gently, not as a trophy, but as a bridge. As dawn touches the wall with pale gold, both sides begin to part, but they do so slower this time, not as watchmen and invaders, but as neighbors. As people. Years pass. The wall stands still, but no longer as a barrier. Now, it's a relic, a reminder. The centurion, gone, not to war, but to time. A new guard watches now, younger, sharper, uncertain, but the old wooden medallion still hangs beside the outpost door, polished from the hands that touched it. No one dares remove it. Across the wall, in the forest clearing, children now play without fear of Roman horns. They chase shadows and throw sticks that become swords. laughing as if walls never mattered. One of them, a girl with curious eyes, finds an old bronze coin buried in the mud. It bears the face of an emperor, long forgotten. She doesn't know his name, but she holds the coin like a treasure. Back inside the wall, a scroll rests untouched in the barracks. A report, never delivered. It reads, met with tribal elders, exchange symbols. No violence, no claim. Only understanding. Recommend continued contact, but no one reads it now. The empire begins to withdraw, not from cowardice. From exhaustion. The borders shrink. The legions thin. The noise fades. And into that quiet, something ancient returns. Listening. Not orders. Not drills. Just breath. And birds, and old footsteps on moss-covered stones. One last Roman soldier, gray, limping, forgotten, makes his way along the wall. One evening. He stops where the forest begins. Listens. From the trees, a flute. Soft, wooden, tribal. He smiles, removes his helmet, and walks toward it. Never returns. Years become decades. The wall crumbles in places. Ivy grows between the stones. The eagles carved into gates begin to fade. But not all is lost. An old tribal woman sits by a fire, telling her granddaughter stories. Greater than there was a time when men in shining armor lived behind the stones. They were loud, they were proud, but one of them gave me bread. Another cried when he heard our song. The child asks, were they good or bad? The woman thinks, then says, greater than they were. Just like us. Final scene, twilight. The wall is nearly gone. Just stubs of stone, half swallowed by the earth. Birds nest where banners once flew. Children run where soldiers once marched. A traveler stands there now, modern clothes, a quiet presence. They place a hand on the worn rock, feel the chill of centuries. No voices remain, but the silence is not empty. It is full of footsteps, of choices, of meetings, of partings, of stories that touched each other just long enough to leave echoes. As the sky darkens, the traveler whispers, the air is dry, but it hums, not with silence, but with secrets. Beneath golden dunes and temples carved by sun itself, Egypt breathes, not loudly. Not fast, but like a river, endlessly. You walk along the banks of the Nile, where the water reflects not just the sky, but the memory of thousands of years. A fisherman casts his net, barefoot on the soft mud. He does not glance at you. He knows you're there, as if all watchers are part of the Nile. His boat, made of reeds, sways gently. His chant to the river god carries across the water like a lullaby. No fear. No noise, just trust. Behind him, fields of barley and flax sway like whispers of green. Women bend to harvest, their hands wrapped in cloth. They speak softly, not to each other, but to the plants. They believe everything hears, even the sand, and perhaps it does. You follow a narrow path to a village. Low walls, painted pottery drying in the sun. Children run barefoot, chasing a hoop with sticks, giggling, under the watchful gaze of an ibis bird. In the corner, an old man sits cross-legged, chiseling hieroglyphs onto a tablet. Not words, but spells. Protection, love, passage to the next world. He does not pause when the wind stirs his beard. He continues as if time itself bends around his task. Inside a nearby house, a girl braids her sister's hair. She hums an old tune, older than papyrus, older than stone. Their mother paints her eyes with dark cold. Not for beauty, for spirit. She believes it wards off demons and bad dreams. You step into the marketplace. It is not chaotic. It is orchestrated. Vendors offer baskets of dates, onions, linen. A man sells perfumes made from lotus, and his stall smells like night. A priest walks through the crowd, slow, distant. He touches no one, but all move aside for him. He carries a carved box, sealed with wax and silence. It holds the name of a god, just the name, and that alone is sacred. In the distance, rising against the glare, are the pyramids. They are not tombs. They are not monuments. They are questions written in stone. The closer you get, the quieter the air becomes. At the base of one, a boy holds his grandfather's hand. Greater than did gods live here? He asks. The old man does not answer. He only kneels, places his palm against the stone, and whispers, greater than still dew. Night falls. The sky turns black blue, scattered with stars the Egyptians once mapped by heart. They believed souls became stars, and that every shining light was watching. You sit beside a fire now. The villagers have gathered. Not to perform. To remember. A woman speaks. Her voice is slow, deliberate. Like the Nile in flood season. The morning rises not with sound, but with light. Golden, precise, intentional. The sun, called Ra, is not just a source of warmth. He is a god, a king, a traveler who sails across the sky in a great boat each day. And today, you walk in his shadow. Before you, a massive temple. Gate yawns open, pillars stand like giants. Each carved with stories that never speak aloud, but always mean something. The scent of stone warmed by centuries fills the air. A boy in white linen sprinkles lotus petals on the steps. He walks backward, never turning his back to the altar. He has trained 5 years just to sweep this floor. Inside the temple, it is cool. Silent. The light falls in beams through small slits in the ceiling, guiding your eyes forward to a golden statue shrouded in blue cloth. This is the god Amun. Or perhaps it is only a vessel. No one speaks his real name here, not even the high priest. Group of priests move slowly. Not a single footstep echoes. They walk as if the walls themselves listen. One carries a bowl of burning myrrh. The smoke coils upward, like a message without words. Another holds a fan made from ostrich feathers, not to cool the god, but to show respect to the unseen. A young scribe sits in the corner, head bowed. He records not what is said, but what is felt. He dips his reed pen into ink made from crushed beetles and soot. His script is elegant, each curve prayer. As the ceremony begins, you notice no idol is uncovered. No voice is raised. No miracle happens, and yet something stirs inside you. Like the walls know why you came. Outside, the sun climbs higher, and far away, past the city's edge, the valley of the kings waits. You journey there next. Along the way, shepherds guide goats through winding paths. Palm trees sway without wind, as if dancing to the memory of ancient drums. Then, silence. Before you lies a tomb, carved into the rock, humble from the outside. Inside, a world untouched. Paintings line the walls, still bright after thousands of years. A pharaoh rides a chariot, arms outstretched. He hunts lions, but his face shows peace, not pride. On the ceiling, stars. Each one hand-painted, each one a soul. At the end of the corridor, a single sarcophagus rests. Gold. Stone. And time. Hieroglyphs cover every inch. They are not decorations. They are instructions. A map through the underworld. You place your hand on the stone. It is cold, but somehow alive. As if the pharaoh still listens, not to rule, but to remember. Back in the city, life moves on. Vendors call. Children laugh. The Nile flows. But in your heart, the quiet of the tomb remains. And a single sentence echoes. You step away from the temples, from gold, from gods, from silence to heavy, to carry. Now, into the hum of life. Real life, simple life. A narrow alley cuts through a cluster of mud brick homes. Smoke from cooking fires twists into the morning sky. The scent of lentils, garlic, and baking flatbread hangs thick in the air. A boy squats by a stream, shaping a clay pot with small, careful hands. He's not an artist, he's a helper. His mother sells the pots. His father is gone to the stone quarries up river. And yet, the boy whistles, a tune so old it might have once been sung in a king's cradle. Behind him, a woman washes linen in a stone basin. She hums too, but her song is not for joy. It is for strength. Her back is bent, her hands are cracked, but her eyes hold light. In the next yard, Two young girls skip rope with braided palm fibers. They chant, greater than raw rides high. The sand won't burn me. Bring rain, bring figs, and mama's story. They laugh, their teeth white like bone against sun-darkened skin. Inside, a home. An old man lies on a woven mat. His eyes are closed, but his fingers trace the air, as if remembering a harp that's long gone. His grandson sits beside him, carving shapes into a piece of wood. Not hieroglyphs. Not art. Just shapes. Because no one watches the carvers, but everyone touches their work. You walk on. A young couple sits under a fig tree. She braids her hair. He counts fish from the morning. Catch. They do not speak. Not because they are angry, but because quiet is comfort. A girl walks by with a jug on her head, balanced, graceful, like a queen. Though she owns nothing but her steps, she hums the same tune as the boy from the riverbank. Different homes, different hands, same song. At the edge of the village, men return from the fields, dusty, tired, but laughing. One holds up a strange root, twisted like a snake. The gods gave me this, he says. Or maybe the devil did. Laughter echoes across the dunes. In the evening, the community gathers. Not for prayer, not for gold, not for kings, but for bread. The flat rounds are hot, the honey is scarce, but stories. Plenty. An old woman stands up. She begins, greater than once. There was a farmer who fell in love with the moon. The children lean forward. The men sip water slowly. The women close their eyes, because in Egypt, every ear is a doorway. When the story ends, no one claps. They just breathe, together, and the stars blink overhead like the eyes of ancestors watching from above. You lie back in the sand, hands behind your head, the sound of distant crickets in your ear. You've walked beside kings. Stood before gods, felt the cold of tombs. But here, among the dust, the sweat, the laughter, you have touched something far older. Not monuments. Not names. But life. And in that life, you find your rest. The stars have shifted. The air is still. You stand before a stone doorway, carved into a cliffside. No guards. No torches. Just symbols. Snakes. Eyes. Wings. This is not a tomb. It is a gate. A priest once said, greater than to die is not to end. It is to begin walking. And so, you step inside. Darkness greets you like an old friend. But it's not empty. It breathes. Your footsteps do not echo, because this place is not built of stone alone. It is shaped by belief. You enter a narrow corridor. Painted walls surround you, vivid still, after 3,000 years. They tell a story. A soul, newly dead, stands before Anubis, the jackal-headed guide. He does not speak. He watches. The heart is taken from the chest, weighed against a feather, the feather of Maat, goddess of truth. If the heart is heavy, it is eaten by a beast with crocodile jaws. If it is light, the soul continues. You feel the weight of your own breath. In the next chamber, a boat waits. But this is no ordinary vessel. It floats not on water, but night. The sky curves above you. Stars painted in perfect lines. They believed the sky was a goddess, nut, arching over the world, swallowing the sun at dusk, birthing it again at dawn. The boat begins to move. No oars. No wind. Just purpose. It glides past burning lakes, fields of reeds, and rivers of ink. Along the way, the soul meets gods. Thoth, with the head of an ibis, records every word. Horus, falcon-eyed, tests every intention. And finally, Osiris. He does not sit on a throne. He stands, wrapped in linen. Green skin, the color of rebirth. He says nothing, just raises a hand. You pass through. Beyond him, a new Egypt. Familiar, yet different. The field of reeds. Endless, quiet, a mirror of life, but without pain. Families reunite. Farmers walk barefoot on perfect soil. Mothers hold the hands of children lost in plague. There is work. There is food. There is song. But no time. No clocks. No aging. Just presence. You walk through this realm, a man waves to you. He does not know your name, but he knows your journey. He points to a tree bearing fruit, greater than eat. You've walked far, you do, and the taste is both strange and familiar, like memory made solid. Far in the distance, the now glitters, but it runs backward, back to birth, back to light, back to meaning. Then, you awaken. Not in a tomb. Not in the field, but back beside a fire. In the village, a woman finished her tale. And so, the soul became a star, and the star became a song, and that song still sings. The children yawn. The night deepens, but no one fears sleep, because here, in this land, sleep is not an end. It is a door. And dreams. Dreams are boats sailing toward forever. The night grows heavy, but Egypt does not sleep. Not truly, not ever. You sit now at the edge of the desert, where the stars rest low and the earth remembers everything. Behind you, the songs of villagers, the laughter of children, the warmth of bread still rising. Before you, the silence of dunes, the call of jackals, the endless stretch of time. And within you, a new voice, not loud, but certain. You think of all you've seen, the golden temples, where gods walk like shadows, the dusty homes, where love lives without ceremony, the sacred tombs, where death is not feared but honored. The afterlife, not as a mystery, but as a continuation. Here in Egypt, everything is connected. The scribe's ink and the priest's chant, the baker's hands and the pharaoh's crown, the river's curve and the moon's breath, each part woven into a great, soft tapestry where no thread stands alone. You hear the wind stir the sand, and it sounds like a voice, not ancient, not forgotten, but eternal, greater than you. Are not a visitor here, it says, you are a witness. A small beetle crosses your path. Scrab. To some, just a bug. To Egypt, a symbol. It rolls a ball of earth, its world, its purpose, just as the sun rolls across the sky, just as souls roll through life to death and back again. Nothing is wasted. No, one is lost. Far on the horizon, the pyramids rise, sharp against the stars. They do not lean, they do not crumble, they endure, because they were never built for kings. Not really, they were built for memory. And memory is stronger than stone. You close your eyes, and for a moment, you hear drums in the distance. Not loud. Not fast. Just steady, like a heartbeat, like the pulse of something far older than time. When you open your eyes, the fire in the village has burned low. The voices are quiet, the stars blink slower. It is time to return, not to a palace, not to a myth. But to yourself, with Egypt now tucked gently in your mind, like a folded letter from the past. As you walk back through the sand, you carry no souvenirs, only a sentence. We are all travelers in the land of echoes, and those who listen never walk alone. Sleep now. Let the Nile carry your dreams. Let the stars hold your breath. Egypt is not a story. It is a feeling, and it never leaves. Not the Egypt of gods, nor us kings, but of people, the ones history rarely names. A cool breeze rises from the Nile, carrying with it the scent of sweet reeds and ancient time. You walk slowly, barefoot, feeling the soft kiss of dust. In the morning haze, you pass rows of small homes, mud brick, sun-baked, warm to the touch. Inside, life begins again. A mother braids her daughter's hair, scooping lentils into a bowl, while her husband sharpens his sickle for the day's harvest. In another home, a boy rolls clay into a pot, his hands small but sure. His laughter rises above the rooftops like a bird taking flight. No pharaoh sees him. No scroll records him, but he lives, and living is enough. You walk through a crowded market. No coins exchanged. Just dates for onions, bread for figs, a song for silence. A woman stops you. Her hands are wrinkled, her eyes kind. She offers you a fig. No words, just a nod. You take it. It's sweet, like memories passed down in whispers. As the sun climbs higher, you enter a school, a single teacher, a stick for a pointer, children murmuring the sounds of ancient words, each symbol a doorway to forever. Outside, a scribe dips his reed pen into ink. He's not writing history, he's writing love. A letter for a bride. The ink dries in the heat, but the words, they will remain. In the fields beyond, men sing as they reap wheat, not to pass time, but to honor it. Each blade cute a prayer, each bundle gatherate a hymn. And in the distance, the Nile glimmers, slow and sacred. You follow it. By nightfall, the village gathers. Not for orders. Not for gods, but for stories. An elder stands. Her voice is soft, but steady. Once, she begins, there was a soul who walked beyond the sunset. The children fall silent, the stars lean closer, even the sand listens. And now, so do you. The tale unfolds, of a journey into death, but not as an ending. As a passage, the soul walks a corridor painted with gods. Anubis weighs its heart, both records, its truths. Matt offers balance. Then a boat, no sails, no oars, just light. The sky curves above, filled with stars and memory. The soul floats through the night, past burning lakes, fields of reeds, and the judgment of Osiris. Not a punishment, but an invitation, and beyond, a land without clocks, a harvest without end, a home remade of dreams, the field of reeds. And as the elder's story ends, no one claps. No one speaks. They simply breathe. Together. You lie back beside the fire, letting the night wrap around you like linen. Your eyes close, but your mind drifts on. To pyramids rising like mountains. To scarabs rolling sun through sky. To hands that built, fed, wrote, healed. Not kings. Not statues. People. And in that moment, you understand. Egypt is not just a place. It is a pulse. It is the rhythm of Thasu, who woke early, who loved deeply, who died quietly, and who now rests beneath the stars. The once named. Sleep now. Let Egypt carry you, not away, but inward, because the sand still whispers. The Nile still sings, and the story still waits. Close your eyes, breathe slowly. And step into a world defined by silence. You are not in Rome. Nor Egypt. You are in Ilanmir, a place not marked on maps. A kingdom where words were not banned, they were precious. You arrive at twilight. Nothing moves quickly, nothing is loud. The streets are paved with softwood planks that swallow your footsteps. Walls are built with stones polished smooth, edges rounded over centuries of quiet. Lamps are placed at measured intervals. Their glow gentle. No flicker, no flare, only a soft rhythm that guides your path. Within these walls, silence is not absence. It is presence. A woman walks by, barefoot, carrying a small clay bowl of water. She does not break the hush. She glides. A child stands near a narrow window, watching the sky without speaking. You sense curiosity without sound. You feel thought. Doorways open without creak. Shutters rise without protest. The air moves, but no one disturbs its flow. You enter a small courtyard, a stone bench, a trimmed olive tree, the whisper of a fountain, hidden behind a wall. No conversation, only stillness. In one corner, a teacher sits before a circle of students. No one reads aloud. They learn by focusing, listening with eyes, absorbing with hearts. A gesture touching one finger to the lips conveys lesson, a tilt of the head a question, a soft nod. Understanding. No teacher shouts. But knowledge spreads, more quietly, more deeply. The sun is low, and now, voices might have distracted. Here, they would not. You walk deeper into the city. Past doorways with engraved symbols. Forgive so you may be free. Listen so the world may speak. Silence is the sound of truth. You pause by a temple. No idol. No altar. But inside. An open chamber. A single stone platform. A person sits in silence, hands folded, head bowed. Not in prayer, but in presence. Your heart slows, your breath aligns with theirs. They do not speak to pray, they pray through attention. And around them, the walls seem to breathe. In this kingdom, silence is a gift. A space, a language. Night deepens, but the hush remains. You are not lonely. Here, you are listening. And that is enough. The sun is now gone, but Elenmere awakens under stars. In most cities, night brings songs. Markets, maybe laughter, but here night deepens silence into ceremony. You are led by a soft light. A young guide walks beside you, carrying a crystal bowl filled with coals. It does not burn. It glows a deep violet light, like memory caught in flame. She says nothing. She does not need to. You reach a wide circle of stone. At the center of the city, around you, people gather. Hundreds. None speak. They wear robes of soft gray, some with small embroidered symbols. A spiral, a drop, a branch. These are not ranks. They are experiences. The spiral for those who have survived. Grief. The drop for those who offered mercy. The branch for those who chose growth over anger. Symbols of inner worlds, made visible. And then the ceremony begins. One by one, people step forward. They do not speak their truth. They offer it. A woman places a smooth stone on the altar. You feel sadness in the way her hands tremble. That stone now holds her sorrow. A boy, barely older than 10, lays down a small wooden flute. Perhaps it was his father's, or a song never played. Another man places a folded cloth frayed at the edges, but carefully washed. A memory of someone not here. No one claps. No one cheers. They honor through stillness. After each offering, the crowd bows not to the person, but to the truth shared. You breathe in, even in silence. The air feels full. This is not emptiness. It is meaning, stretched across quiet. The ritual lasts an hour, or maybe a lifetime. Time in Elenmere moves like a tide. You do not watch it, you feel when it changes. And now, it shifts again. The last person steps forward. An elder. She carries nothing, but as she reaches the center, she places both hands on the altar, open, empty, waiting. She closes her eyes. The whole city does the same. Even you. There is no sound. No movement. Only breath. And for a single perfect moment you understand why this city lives in silence. Because silence is not the absence of voice. It is the presence of soul. The ritual ends. The people slowly rise, robes sweeping stone, eyes soft with meaning. They do not look at one another, not out of rudeness, but respect. Here, gaze is as sacred as speech. You walk again through the narrow streets, the night wrapping around you like velvet. The sky above is wide, not loud with stars, but vast and patient. And as you return to your chamber, a quiet place, lit by a single orb of amber light, you lie down, not just asleep, but to listen. To the voice inside you that only silence can hear. And Elenmere listens back. Always. Dawn does not arrive with trumpet or crow. In Elenmere, morning enters like a thought, soft, unspoken, but clear. You awaken not to noise, but to warmth. Sunlight gently touching the floor beside your bed, spreading like spilled honey across smooth stone. Outside, the city stirs. Not with alarms. With movement. A baker shapes bread without uttering a recipe. A child waters vines strung across a quiet rooftop. To neighbors pass one another in the street, pressing hands to hearts instead of exchanging greetings. You are drawn toward a tall structure, its entrance framed by curved branches of ironwood, each carved with symbols. This is the library of no pages. Inside, you expect scrolls, books, tablets, but there are none. Instead, the walls are lined with objects, a feather sealed in crystal, a folded piece of silk, a single raindrop frozen in amber, a mask carved from ocean stone. Each item is a story, not told, felt. A woman approaches you. She is the keeper. She gestures to a section marked with a symbol, two spirals facing one another, the section of shared truths. You walk slowly, eyes scanning the shelves. Your hand stops at a bundle of thread. It's blue, frayed, uneven, but when you hold it you feel the echo of longing. The touch of someone far away, the love held in the absence of return. You place it back, carefully. Each item carries emotion, a fragment of lived experience, preserved not in ink, but energy. The keeper offers you a bowl empty. You understand. This is your invitation to contribute. You think, what would you offer? What truth lives in you? Wordless but real. Your fingers reach into your satchel. You find a small, worn coin. It holds no value. But you remember the hand that gave it to you, the laugh that followed, the promise it carried. You place the coin into the bowl. The keeper nods. You are now part of the library. Not as a visitor, but as a memory someone else will one day hold. In silence and feel. You exit the library, but it does not leave you, because now you carry the truth that stories don't always need words. Some of the most powerful tales are only understood when heard by the heart, and in Ilanmir, your heart is always listening. As twilight settles once more over Ilanmir, you find yourself drawn toward the edge of the city where few go, and fewer return the same. Here stands the Tower of Echoes, the tallest structure in the kingdom, not built to defend, not built to rule, but built to listen. Legends say the tower is alive, that it hears every sound ever made in the kingdom, even the ones that were never spoken aloud. You step through its arched doorway, and at once, the air shifts. Colder. Still. Heavier with memory. The spiral staircase ahead is narrow, lit by faint blue stones that pulse softly, like a heartbeat slowed by time. You begin your ascent. Each step is silent, but not empty. You feel whispers brush past your skin, not voices, but impressions. A mother's unspoken fear the night her child was ill, a craftsman's pride as he shaped the final corner of a silent table, a goodbye never voiced, only felt through the trembling of hands. The tower does not forget. It remembers for you. Higher now. The staircase opens into chambers each more ethereal than the last. In one room. Instruments. Flutes, drums, harps all displayed, untouched, yet humming softly as if playing the notes of forgotten feelings. In another, floating orbs of light flicker in rhythm with the emotions left behind. A third chamber has no floor. Only mist. You step into it, and instead of falling, you float as if carried by the weight of things never said, and finally, you reach the top. The open air greets you, and silence becomes sound, not noise, not words, but echo. You hear nothing with your ears, but your heart recognizes it. It is the collective memory of a kingdom built on stillness. You sit, and the wind begins to speak, not in language, but in presence. You sense the voices of those who built this tower, the ones who chose silence not as absence, but as devotion. Each gust carries a question. Have you listened? Have you been still enough to hear? Have you honored your own quiet truth? You close your eyes, and answer with your breath. You remain there as the stars unfold across the sky, the tower rising into them like a prayer, with no sound, only intention. In Ilanmir, words are not forbiddance. They are sacred. So sacred. They are savagely for when the soul has nothing else left to say. Night has folded the sky into velvet. Stars watch over Ilanmir not with brilliance, but with gentleness. It is your final evening in the kingdom of stillness. You walk alone, but feel no loneliness, because here, your silence is accompanied. You return once more to the heart of the city. Where the stone circle waits. Where the ritual of farewell begins. You are not the only one leaving. A small group has gathered: travelers, scholars, those who came to listen and now must return to a world that never quiets. A soft chime rings. Once. That is the signal. Everyone kneels, not in worship. In gratitude. A keeper approaches you. She carries a mirror, but not of glass. Its surface is silver clay, still soft, waiting for your touch. You kneel. You press your fingertips into it. No name. No symbol. Just the impression of your presence. Your echo will remain here even after your body departs. She places the mirror among others, hundreds stored within a chamber. Below the city, a hall of those who listened, a record of those who came not to take, but to feel. And now, a final walk. As you make your way to the gate of wines, residents line the path. They say nothing, but they offer gifts: a bundle of herbs, tied in silence, a stone warmed by hand, smooth from use, a fragment of glass that reflects the sky only when held with kurithesia, not souvenirs. They are reminders. The final keeper meets you at the gate. She raises her hand slowly, not to wave, to bless, a gesture of release. Permission to carry this. Silence with you into the noise of the world. The gate opens. Wine rushes in. Not loud, but purposeful. It surrounds you. And you take your first step away from Millenmere. But it is not truly away, because silence, once heard, echoes forever. You walk through hills that remember, through fields where no birds sing, but where peace lives. And behind you, the gate does not close, because this place waits for those ready to listen again, even if that takes a lifetime. The wind shifts. Your feet, once familiar with stone and stillness, now sink gently into warm grains of ancient sand. Far from Millenmere, yet still within the rhythm of forgotten places, you arrive at a land where the dunes are alive and the silence has a different shape. This is Olaru, the city buried, but never dead. The desert hides many things: bones, ruins, secrets, but beneath the golden sea of wine-blown time, Olaru breathes, and now, you have found its breath. You first see it at twilight just before the sky turns indigo. A single column of black stone, jutting from a dune like a finger pointing to memory. You touch it. Warm. Not from the sun, but from something below. The sand around you shifts slightly, as if recognizing your presence, and then the ground gives way. You do not fall. You descend. Softly. Slowly. Carried downwards by a spiral of fine dust and forgotten air. When your feet touch solid ground again, you are beneath the desert, within the whispering city. Olaru opens before you like a mouth just beginning to speak. You step into a hallway carved from white limestone, its walls covered in moving etchings. Yes, moving. Scenes that once happened, now replay as silent echoes on the walls. A market, a coronation, a birth, a betrayal. The walls remember everything. You pass through arches shaped like flames, and doorways carved to mimic the horizon. Here, architecture is language. Each curve, a phrase, each angle, an emotion. The first chamber you enter is vast, round, and pulsing faintly with amber light. There are no torches. The glow comes from memory stones embedded into the walls like eyes that still dream. You are not alone. Across the chamber stands a figure. Tall. Cloaked in layered silk that seems to ripple without wind. A guide of the sand. Their face is covered, but not too high. To honor. For in Olaru, only the soul speaks and the soul needs no lips. The guide gestures for you to follow. No words, but every step they take is a sentence. Every pause, a question. You walk. Together, you enter the chamber of first breath. It is said, this is where the city itself was born, not built, born. The ceiling arches far above, painted in faded gold and blue, a map of a sky that no longer exists. At the center of the room is a pool. Still. Silent. That, as you approach, images shimmer on its surface. Faces. Cities. Stars. Eyes that wept before your time. You look into the pool and it looks back. This is not just a city. It is a mirror for those brave enough to remember what they were before sound ruled their world. The guide speaks now, but not with voice. A thought enters your mind. Will you go deeper? There is more to see. Beneath Olaru lies the vault. And below that, the heart. And below than that, a silence that roars. But that will come next. For now, you sit beside the memory pool. You listen to what is not said. And somewhere behind the walls something listens back. Beneath the chamber of first breath, a stairway spirals downward, narrow, carved from obsidian, its edges smoothed by time and the weight of memory. The guide stands at the threshold. No words, no command, just a slow nod, as if asking your courage to awaken. You step onto the first stair. It sighs beneath your weight, not from pressure, but recognition. Few walk this path. Fewer return the same. The air cools. Dry and thin. Dust dances in the faint golden light cast by the flickering memory stones embedded in the walls. Each step downward peels something from you. the noise you carry, the assumptions, the rush of modern thought. You are being hollowed, not to lose yourself, but to make space for what lies ahead. At the bottom, you arrive before a stone door. There is no handle. No lock. Instead, a panel. Upon it, a question carved in ancient tongue. What is heavier than silence? You pause. Think. Then gently, you place your hand over the question, and you feel the answer. Truth. The door responds. Not by opening, by dissolving. Like sand blown away by purpose. You enter the vault of shadows. Inside, a vast space. Circular. Dome. Lit only by the glow of floating lanterns. Suspended midair. Flickering with memorias too old to name. Around the perimeter, 12 alcoves. Each holds a vessel. None are the same. One is made of glass, but cracked in perfect symmetry. Another is iron, with vines growing through its seams. A third glows faintly blue, but only when you do not look directly at it. The guide turns to you again. A question pulses into your thoughts. Choose the echo that calls to you. You step forward. The vessels are not objects, they are stories. Condensed. Contain. Waiting. You stop before the fifth. It's simple. Stone. Plain. But something about its silence feels familiar. You reach out. The moment your fingers touch it, the vault shifts, not with violence. With remembrance. The vessel opens. Inside, a single grain of black sand, floating, pulsing softly with energy. It drifts toward you, touches your chest, and vanishes. No pain, only weight. You now carry it, a burden. No, a key. The guide nods. You've been accepted, but accepted by what? You don't yet know. Only that deeper still, beneath even the vault, there is something ancient, buried before time had a name. And it now knows you are here. The vault behind you fades. Not in light, but in presence. Its echoes now pulse quietly within your chest, where that single grain of black sand rests like a star asleep in the dark. The guide does not move ahead now. They stop at an archway carved from salt and bone. They raise their hand. Then turn away. You understand. This part of the journey you must walk alone. You enter. Beyond the archway is a narrow passage. It grows tighter with every step. The air becomes warmer. Not with heat, but with pressure. Like the world itself is leaning in to listen. The walls here no longer speak in symbols. They breathe, with veins of gold running like lightning beneath smooth stone. This place is alive. And then it opens. You step into a chamber so vast, you cannot see its end. The floor below you is glass. Beneath it a slow-moving river of glowing ink, swirling in impossible shapes. Above, the ceiling curves into darkness, but pulses faintly with red veins that beat in rhythm with your own heartbeat. You are standing inside the heart of Alaru, and it knows you. You hear it. Not with your ears, with your bones. A low hum. Endless. Ancient. It is not language, but intention. You kneel. Not from fear, from understanding. The heart whispers. And this time, you understand. It says, you are not the first. Visions unfold before you. A woman in crimson robes, kneeling just as you are, a child with silver eyes, touching the floor with reverence, a soldier, broken and bleeding, finding rest here when all hope was gone. They came before you. They heard the call. They carried the silence, just like you now do. The grain of black sand within you warms. Glows. And suddenly, you see through time. You see Alaru above ground. Alive. Its towers kissed by dawn. Its people walking without fear, each one carrying quiet purpose. You see the moment. It was buried not by war, but by choice. To preserve the silence. To protect the truth. The city chose to sleep. But the world changed. And now, it stirs again, because someone listened. You did. The glow fades. The chamber dims. And the heartbeat slows. Not dying. Resting. Your time here is done. You rise. The chamber's breath still around you. You turn to leave, but the chamber speaks once more. Return when the world forgets again. And you will, because silence always finds its keeper. The path out of the heart is not the same one you came in from. The chamber breathes once more softly now, like a dream fading at dawn, and the floor of glass beneath your feet begins to shift, cracking open the long ancient seams, revealing a spiral stair that descends deeper still. Even the guide did not mention this. This is a place few have entered, a place even fewer have left. You step downward. With every step, the light above recedes, and something older than shadow surrounds you. Your thoughts slow. Not from fear, but reverence. You pass through a narrow corridor chiseled from a black stone that seems to drink the light. No torches, no memory stones, only the faint silver glow of lines etched along the walls. But these are not just marks, they are words, not spoken, not written, but sung. The song is not meant for ears. It is meant for the silence inside you. You pause. You listen. And then you feel it hum deep in your chest, as if the grain of black sand is awakening. Then a sound rises. Not from around you, from within. A low, ancient tone. You begin to sing, not with voice, but with presence. The corridor responds. The stone walls pulse, resonating with your frequency, welcoming you. And suddenly the corridor opens. You enter the hall of forgotten voice. It is not a hall in the usual sense. There are no pillars, no floor, no ceiling. Only space, endless, weightless, filled with whispers that spiral like galaxies. And in the center, a single figure. Tall. Still. Cloaked in robes of shifting sand and star dust. But their face, it's your own. Not a reflection, not a mirror, but a version of you untouched by noise. The you that might have been if the world had never learned to shout. They look at you. They do not speak, but you understand. This is the voice you gave up to hear the world clearly. And now, you have earned it. Back. The figure walks toward you, slowly raising a hand. Your breath stills. And then a single touch to your forehead. No flash. No sound. Just stillness. And then clarity. You remember the true purpose of Alaru. Not to hide history, but to preserve listening. In a world that grew louder and louder. This city was the final echo of what it meant to understand without speaking. You now carry that. Not just in silence, but in presence. The figure nods, once, and vanishes. And just like that, you are back, standing on the dune, the black stone pillar before you, the desert wind sweeping across the horizon like a soft sigh. You look to the sky. It is morning. And Alaru is gone, buried again. Waiting. Not for another seeker, but for the moment the world forgets how to listen and needs a voice of quiet once more. You turn. You walk. And though no one can see it, you carry something powerful now. A whisper that will never die. The desert wind greets you again, but it feels different now. As though it, too, has heard what you've heard and changed. The sun hangs low in the sky, painting the dunes with long shadows that stretch like fingers reaching across time. You walk slowly, not out of exhaustion, but reflection. Every step echoes with memory. The vault, the heart, the forgotten voice. They were not just places, they were awakenings, each one unwrapping a truth buried within you, layer by layer, until only your essence remained. You are not the same. And yet, the world is. Caravans still roam far in the distance. Traders laugh. The scent of dates and dessert spice lingers in the air. No one suspects what lies beneath their feet. No one hears the heartbeat of Alaru. But you do. As you crest the final dune, you stop and look back. The sand behind you shows no footprints. It's as if the journey erased itself. No proof. No record. Only the whisper of what was learned. You sit. The sky fades from gold to blue. Stars blink into being. And in that quiet moment, you listen again. Not for sound but for silence. And it answers. It always does. Because silence is not the absence of noise. It is the presence of meaning. Of attention. Of reverence. You now carry the story of Alaru. Not to shout it. Not to reveal it. But to guard it. To live it. To be the one who listens in the world grows to loud. And one day, when another seeks what you have found, you will know what to do. You will say nothing. And guide them well, just like the silence guided you.